Yes, good morning. Today is May 19th. For the Lord searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee, but if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. 1 Chronicles 28, verse 9. In ancient Israel, David gathered to Jerusalem all the princes of Israel and the tribes, the captains of the companies, the stewards over all the possessions of the king, the leaders and officers, the mighty and valiant men. At this assembly, David appointed his son Solomon to build the temple and sit upon the throne of the kingdom of Israel. With the wisdom of sorrow and regret, David exhorted his son, And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and a willing mind. David's life illustrates the need for each of us to endure in faithfulness to the end. As a youth, he was a man after the Lord's own heart. But because of his sins, David is suffering a serious penalty for his disobedience to the commandments of God and has fallen from his exaltation. Okay, so today is Deuteronomy chapter 15. We skipped forward a bit. So there's nothing in the side-by-side. Obviously, that's our luck. But we do have some stuff in the Ludlow. Now, in this chapter, the Lord's talking about forgiving debt. He's saying that in the 7th year, just forgive debt, or if you have a servant who's serving you 6 years, in the 7th year, let them go. But if they want to stay, then they can stay. So, let's see. Every 7th year, Israelites were to forgive the debts of their fellow Israelites, but not necessarily the debts of foreigners. Also, the Israelites were promised that if they observed the commandments of the Lord, they would be so blessed they would not need to borrow money from strangers, but would be able to lend money to them. The prophets of this dispensation have set the example and taught the responsibility of members of the church towards the poor, as indicated in the following statements. This is Brigham Young. The man who is hungry and destitute has as good a right to my food as any other person, and I should feel as happy in associating with him if he had a good heart, as with those who have an abundance, or with the princes of the earth. They all are esteemed by me, not according to the wealth and position they hold, but according to the character they have. And then John Taylor says, And if there is a widow or an orphan or any destitute persons, or anyone who has to struggle hard, look after them, and do not try to make paupers of them, but what you do for them, do it in a kind, good feeling, making them to feel and realize that you are their friends. And then there's another one by John Taylor and Lorenzo Snow, which we could read. But, I read a lot yesterday. Who wants to just watch me read, which is what I do every day, but I don't know, I don't feel that great per usual this past week, but anyways, that's basically Deuteronomy chapter 15. And then we jump to chapter 18, but the side-by-side commentary jumps to chapter 32. So, I don't know how much we're gonna get out of that today. Today's the 19th. Okay, we've got 2 for today. The Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom, and then the other one's by St. Augustine. Heavenly King, Paracelete, Spirit of Truth, present in all places and filling all things, treasury of good and choir master of life, come and dwell with us, cleanse us from all stains, and save our souls. O come, thou refreshment of them that languish and faint. Come, thou star and guide of them that sail in the tempestuous sea of the world, thou only haven of the tossed and shipwrecked. Come, thou glory and crown of the living, and only safeguard of the dying. Come, Holy Spirit, in much mercy, and make me fit to receive thee. I was trying not to get a cold, and I don't think that's worked out. All right, that was Deuteronomy chapter 15. I hate when the weather changes. See you tomorrow.